Hi everyone, this is Brennan here. I am an Amazon seller, and really today my objective is to really share with you my knowledge as far as my journey when it comes to Amazon FBA and being able to launch products successfully and whatnot. But today specifically, I want to go over with you 10 things that I've learned from Amazon multi-millionaires. I am not a multi-millionaire, however, I have taken many courses. I'm talking about easily 5+ courses, big courses on Amazon. And not just that too, of course, I have been watching videos from other YouTubers as well, and even some of them being multi-millionaires. And what I have found is that there are common threads that you maybe and probably aren't aware of that you really need to be implementing into your Amazon FBA business as soon as possible to start seeing some better results. And that's ultimately what I want to be sharing with you today. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to be just kind of going over as like almost like an interactive whiteboard presentation here as far as just going over what's important and what you need to know. So there's 10 main things that you need to know, okay? So 10 things. And excuse my handwriting here, I'm using, a mouse. So anyways, 10 things. The first thing that you absolutely need to know, and something that I know for a fact multi-millionaires on not just Amazon but in general know incredibly well, that is their numbers, okay? What do I mean by numbers? This comes down to, do you know offhand how much you're making per unit, okay? Do you know how much your cost is for your product? Do you know how much all that is? Do you know what your profit margin is, okay? Do you know, that's really something huge there, but not just for your product too, while that is super important. Also, another big thing when it comes to Amazon FBA comes down to the ads, okay? And what I mean by ads is, are you doing certain things to make sure that you're basically optimizing your ads? Now, what's really nice about this is I'm going to be creating new videos in the future that'll be going over exactly how to optimize your ads. But essentially, what I see new people doing that's a big mistake is they just create a campaign and just let it run forever and don't touch it again. They get really overwhelmed by it and don't want to touch it, but that's a big problem. You want to be optimizing. So let's use that word, okay? For optimizing, okay? So what does optimizing mean? Optimizing basically means, so say you let a campaign run for a week and you get certain results. You're going to guarantee some results as long as, of course, you have a budget going. And from that, essentially what you're going to get, so you're going to get R for results here. Oops, I can get that going. Let's do that. Okay. R for results. Okay, so from these ads, you're going to get R for results. Okay. And from those results, what you're going to want to then find out is what's working and also what's NW, not working. Okay. That you're going to be guaranteed. All right, so well, excuse my drawing there. Okay, so let's try that again. So R for results. Okay, so you're going to get two things, which you already said, which was what worked, and then also what did not work or not working. Let's just say NW for not working. Okay, so from here, essentially, how do you know what's working? How do you know what's not working? When it comes to the ads themselves, this is a whole other topic. So I don't want to dive too deep in here because I have 10 things to talk about with you today. But basically, essentially, you want to make sure it's profitable. Okay, that's the quick way to say it. And again, I'll have other videos too that'll go more in depth about how to find that exactly. But essentially, you want to absolutely make sure it's profitable. It's too easy to let ads run and they're actually not profitable. So keep that in mind, okay? So the second thing that you want to know as far as when it comes to Amazon multimillionaires, what's common is they always have what's called a plan, okay? So meaning this, do you know how many products you want to launch this year? Do you have a goal? For an example, for me, this year what I'd like to do is I'd like to launch preferably somewhere around 30 products this year, okay? And what I estimate, just based on kind of how I approach Amazon, is I am guessing each one's going to cost around $1,500 to start. Now this right here, that's my goal. There is no guarantee per se that I'm going to get this, but when it comes to plans, if you know what you want, in this case, that's my goal. Maybe to you that sounds like a lot, maybe to you it sounds like a little. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The point is you put in whatever you want here and whatever goal you want to hit, okay? Maybe you start from the beginning saying, hey, this year I want to make $100,000, okay? That's your goal, and you've done maybe Amazon FBA before, you know how much money you make per product. I'm going to make this up and say maybe you make $5K per product. That's basically saying, hey, you need to launch 20 products this year in order to hit your 100K goal. Now, this is fictitious numbers. These are all made up, okay? But you need to figure out exactly what it is for you and what's going to work best for you and your business. And if, again, you don't know these numbers, that's what you need to do. Figure out this plan. All right. So basically, essentially, when you have a goal in place, you can break that down even more. So let me see, get back here. Okay. So essentially, what you're going to want to do here is I had this goal of 30, and it's going to cost $1,500 for each launch. Okay. So with this launch, essentially what I want to do is break this down. So that's going to mean somewhere in the range of, let's see here, 5. So if I did about 3 products per month, okay, so 12 months in the year, you're going to get 36, okay? So that's not actually a bad goal right there. So that ultimately means that I need to know that I have 4.5K each month that needs to go into basically launching products for Amazon on average. Now, if I aim for this, the chances of me hitting, well, actually, just take that back. Not only just this, but for sure this is going to be really high. So I know it's getting a little cluttered. Let's get out here. Okay. So now what you want to do is you basically break it down. You break it down as far as how long you want to have that go, meaning that goal, maybe is that a year, is that a week, is that a month, like whatever that goal is, that number, and then break it down, basically break it down to the sense of you have a plan of, hey, I know this month for me and my business, I need $4,500 put aside. For you, maybe that's $1,500. For you, maybe you're only thinking about launching 5 products in a year, so maybe you only need to put, say, $300 aside for the month, whatever your goal is, okay? So keep that in mind, have a plan, okay? Third, that Amazon multimillionaires have in common is this thing called learning, which, great news, you're doing that right now, okay? So know this, Amazon is always changing, okay? Always changing. There's always going to be new rules coming out. That's why you always absolutely need to be learning, like you're doing right now. You can't be complacent, because if you are, it's going to be a matter of time before some new change happens, and maybe you were ranking really high on Amazon, and then all of a sudden now you're off the first page, which, if you can probably guess, that's not good. Whether it comes to advertising or even when it comes to the organic rank. So keep that in mind. Always be learning. What does that mean? That means watching YouTube videos like this one, and also check out my other videos too that show you more like how-to, step-by-step. This is more an informational video, but still really good stuff that you can, of course, implement into your Amazon business. So when you take courses too, I should say, because I have taken many courses as well, and courses, videos, things of that sort, even talking to others, having some kind of community, and being able to talk to other sellers, that's going to be something that's be really big and helpful to you. Okay, so now I think we're on the 4th one. I want to double check that. We're on the 4th one? Cool. All right. So we are on the 4th one. So the 4th thing that you want to know as far as Amazon multimillionaires, has to be super important, is that they're always focused on growing. What does that mean? So maybe first year on Amazon, so this stands for first year on Amazon, you launch a total of 3 products, okay? That's awesome. But the next following year, so say year 2, what is your goal? You know, are you looking at doubling it? I actually like that a lot as far as looking at doubling things. Now, it kind of depends on budget and things of that sort, right? So, you know, if you have, say, a higher paying job, or if you have another business, or your Amazon business is already taking off, you might be able to easily put in more than 3 products the next following year. But maybe if you do have maybe the same job that you did year 1 here, and you're able to afford to, say, launch 3 products, then perhaps your goal is to double that, which is still solid. So then that creates 6. Okay, you can kind of see how this is going to work. So year 3, you should be budgeting and putting into your business. So we're looking at maybe having a total of 6. So we're actually adding on 6 to this to equal to 12 total products year 3. So you can see over time how this can grow drastically. So then by year 4, you have 24 products, and then before you know it, within 5 years, your life easily, maybe even before that, could actually change based on the income that you're getting through here. You know, Amazon FBA is not something that you can get rich overnight kind of a thing, okay? It's definitely not a get rich quick scheme or anything of that sort. It does take work, it takes effort, it takes, having skill in order to be successful. But that's, why you're watching these type of videos where you're able to learn things that are going to ultimately help you. So, my point there is know that, hey, you need to be able always to be growing. If you just stay complacent, say for an example, you stay at 20 total, 20 products or whatnot, things happen over time in the sense of, say, for whatever reason, demand just goes down. Think of it like fidget spinners. Those were super popular, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? I'm forgetting now, but it doesn't matter. You've probably heard of them. It's those things you kind of hold like this, and then you basically kind of flick them and they go around. It's supposed to help you with stress or whatever. Those were super popular at the time, but if you had your business just focused on that, yes, you would have done quite well at the time 5 years ago or whatever. But nowadays, it's probably nearly non-existent, or not anywhere even close to what it was. So my point is, you might have, say, 20 products. That's a 20, or that's not a 6, that's a 0. 20 products, okay, P for products. But ultimately, okay, so let me get back into there. Okay, so you might have 20 total products, but at the same time, too, you got to keep in mind this. You got to keep in mind that maybe in a year, for whatever reason, now you have 18 products that are really performing well, and 2 of them of products, meaning I guess I should have put the 2 up here to equal now 18, so you'll have 18 left over, so forget that. So minus 2 products, meaning these ones become irrelevant or just stop selling well even after optimization, stuff like that. Things like that happen. Demand changes for products. So now maybe you only have so I forgot what year we're in, say year 3, whatever, and you just stayed complacent at just keeping whatever you had. Now you have probably 18 products that are still performing, and now you're missing 2. So my point is this. Keep in mind, over time, simply put, a lot of products could just simply lose demand. Now, it does depend on what industry you're in, depends what you're going into, but things change. And that's why I always recommend continuously launching products each year, so that way it basically makes up for the products that could basically go down drastically as far as their revenue. Okay, I think we're going on to, gosh, I'm already forgetting where the heck we are. Maybe 5, 6, it doesn't really matter too much. I'll keep going here because I want to give you guys as much value as possible. All right, let's just say 5, could be 6, doesn't matter. Okay, so for 5 here, what Amazon multimillionaires know that you probably don't know is that you absolutely need to keep an eye on your fees. So this does go into other things such as knowing your profit, but I want to put this as a whole different thing because fees also change. Not only from Amazon, okay, so AMZ for Amazon, so you have your fees for the referral fee, so R for referral, and then also you have, I forgot what the other fee is called, but you have some other fee. That's basically a part of the Amazon fee process. There's 2 of them. Forgetting the other one at the moment, but basically that equals your Amazon fee. There's like a referral fee and then there's something else. Anyways, so that equals the Amazon fee, and then people think, oh, okay, so then I just subtract that from the cost of, let's say you sold the product for 20 bucks, referral fee $6, okay, 6 minus 6, okay, so that leaves you then with $14. So great, my profit's $14. Wrong. Again, this is where knowing the numbers is incredibly important, similar, but I wanted to, again, make its own little thing here. It's that important. That essentially, what you need to know is that you have more fees than just that, okay? So depending on exactly how you do this, I guess we're working with bold font now, or drawing, whatever. So basically, yes, you have the Amazon fee here, but then more than that, you actually have other fees. What is that? So that's, of course, the product fee. So how much does it cost per unit? But you need to know this too. So there's the product fee, right? So yes, of course, the product, but are you also including the shipping cost of that. So essentially, you have potentially two costs here. So an Alibaba supplier could say, yeah, you can get it down to $2 per unit. Okay, great. But what they may not be telling you, and this is what you need to know, there's actually acronyms for this. I'm forgetting at the moment, but essentially, sometimes they can give you the product and shipping price all together in one price. But a lot of times what you're actually going to find is they're going to give you the cost for the product, and then later they're going to tell you the shipping cost for that product. They'll end up probably giving you a flat fee for like the product. So if you're ordering, say, 500 units, they could come back and say, hey, the shipping cost by C would be $600. From there, you can kind of figure out how much that would cost. Let's just make math super easy. Let's just say $1, even though it's not right, but let's just say $1, okay? So it's actually $1 cost per unit to get it shipped to Amazon. So actually, your total cost, your fee is not $2. It's actually $3 in this case, okay? So make sure you're paying attention to that. There's also hidden fees too that you may not be aware of or not thinking of that can play a role as far as profit margin, or hits your profit margin. That also is returns. Okay, so basically customer returns. Those aren't hopefully going to be too much. That's supposed to be customer returns. Okay, that's essentially, you're going to have some type of fees here. For whatever reason, some people won't like the product. Some people don't need it anymore. There's a million different reasons why they could be returning it. But if you're selling on Amazon and you have more than one product launch, you're virtually guaranteed to have returns at some point or another. So realize this is going to be a cost to you. Sometimes when customers return it, what they can do is that Amazon can resell it. So Amazon resell it, but sometimes it won't be in good enough condition. Now, it depends on what product you launch. Some of them maybe could get all accepted, and maybe some of them won't get accepted at all. In my experience, it's kind of, I would say 80% of the time, it can be percentage. That's really bad. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, 80% of the time, I'd say they can resell it, but 20% of the time they can't. So realize that's going to be a cost to you. So they end up basically throwing it out in short. So that $3, so say over time, that product, there's 20, nah, I'm making this up, I don't know. So 20 total units over maybe a month's time got returned. Again, it totally depends on your sales volume and how much you're doing. So this could be realistic to you, it might not be. But this is still regardless of a fee. And that is basically $60 right there in just a small fee that basically is coming out of your pocket or your profit margin. So keep that in mind. Okay? And of course, let's see if I already talked about it. Nope. Okay, another big one too, probably arguably the largest. Actually, second largest. This first largest is going to be the Amazon fee, more than likely, but is going to be the ad cost. So the ad costs are something you need to watch. Huge. This is something that I did not do enough when I first got started. And you need to be watching the ad costs. Again, it has to do with optimizing, and it also has to do with being able to successfully make it a profitable campaign. That stuff takes time. The chances of you having a super profitable campaign in essentially the first, I don't know, couple days is unlikely unless you have prior data to go off of. It's really unlikely. So keep that in mind. Something that you need to watch. So there's other fees involved that you might not be thinking of. Keep that in mind. Those are definitely, I would say, the main ones, but keep in mind too that there always could be other ones as well. So keep that in mind, depending on, of course, how you structure your business and what exactly you're investing into. All right, so I'm just going to say this is 7. I may have said 5 up there. Let's just go with 7 now. So 7th thing that multimillionaires know for Amazon is that they look at different locations. Locations. What do I mean? I should probably not use locations. I should say marketplaces. Marketplaces. All right. That is a marketplace. So what do I mean by this? The biggest one by far is going to be the U.S. That's rough. Okay, U.S. marketplace. Okay. That's the biggest one. That's probably the one that all of us sell on. However, depending on exactly where you are with your business, if you're just starting out, don't worry about this, okay? But if you do have multiple products launched, then yes, look into this, which is there's the the Canadian marketplace. There's other places overseas. I haven't drastically looked into this. I'm also in Canada as well. However, there's other marketplaces too. What I have noticed, again, is that the multimillionaires are in multiple marketplaces. When I say multiple, probably 5+ is what I've noticed. Now, this is more, I will give you a heads up, I would say more of an advanced strategy on how to get more sales. If you are just starting out, do not worry about this. Just worry about the United States marketplace. That's the biggest one by far anyways. However, if you are still like an Amazon seller and you've been established, look into these. You could be leaving basically money on the table. So make sure you look into those. And from there, that could actually help you gain more sales and, of course, more profit at the end of the day. Okay. Moving along. Okay. So for number 8 here, and I'll do a bonus one at the end as well to make sure that we hit all 10 at minimum. So the 8th one that multimillionaires of Amazon know is essentially this. You have a range of prices. What do I mean by that? Basically, a range of prices means you kind of specialize in a certain price range for products, okay? I believe you can be successful in any range. What I mean by range, I mean, anywhere from, some people be like $10 to $20 range. Some people be 20 to 30 and so on, right? Now, in my opinion, I think somewhere in this range is going to be the sweet spot. And for me, my favorite sweet spot is around the $20 range. That's where I am often able to get products for $3 or less shipped to me from Alibaba. Okay. And essentially when I'm able to do that, I like to then be able to stick in my typical budget of about $1,500 per launch. Okay. It is really easy to spend more than that. I've actually looked into a product in the past of what I wanted to launch, and it was going to be a really cool product, and it had to be custom made, custom designed. At the end of the day, it would cost at least $7,000 to launch, okay? While that sounded really, it was like something that could be potentially making 15, that looks like a 5, but that is a dollar sign there, 15K per month. So this is a really nice product that you could have high profit margins. However, the problem was it's a relatively high risk. Now, maybe $7,000 sounds like not a lot to you, or maybe it sounds like a lot. To me at the time, that was a lot. So I was like, all right, that is way out of my budget range. I don't want to touch that right now. So do realize this. It's very possible to go over $1,500 for the product launch. However, it's very possible to stay within that boundary too. So I like to kind of keep it in that range. Know my range and know what you like. Now, if you're just starting out, you probably don't know your range minus the fact of what your budget is. Now, if your budget is, say, $1,000, I do believe it's still possible to launch a product. In fact, I actually made a video months ago on this channel about how I could launch a product for around $500. Now, keep in mind, while that is possible to launch for $500, that's supposed to be $500, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be nearly as easy as unless, say, if you had $1,500, okay? The more money you're spending up front, typically, depending on, I guess, competition, but typically speaking, it'll be easier for you. The more likelihood that you're probably going to get a better head start. If I had my choice, I like a minimum of $1,500, maybe up to at max $2,000 per launch. That's my sweet spot, okay? So knowing your range of prices as far as what you want to specialize in, that's going to be key to be able to launch more and more products, which is what multimillionaires at Amazon do. They launch more and more and more products. How do they do this? They have a system in place as far as the range of prices that they like, that they know people will buy at, and how much they can afford for the launch process. So keep that in mind regardless of how far you are when it comes to Amazon. All right, so going to number 9. All right, so for number 9 here, the next thing that you'll want to know as far as when it comes to Amazon multimillionaires is that you're going to see this not just with Amazon multimillionaires, but just multimillionaires in general. They're going to have multiple streams, okay, of income. You guessed it, Okay, and you might be thinking, great, well, how the heck do they do that? Well, actually, they do it in a lot of different ways, and they're smart about it. So first, of course, you have Amazon, okay? So you have the Amazon marketplace as a whole. That's a source, okay? So S for source of income. Next, other things they have going to perhaps is their own website. Again, I will say that this is maybe a little bit more advanced tactic. If you're just starting out with Amazon FBA, I wouldn't worry about it at first. Build your first stream of income. Then when you have that established, move on to the next one. In this case, again, I'm sharing what they've done. So kind of taking a bird's eye view of like what exactly they've done. But again, if you're just getting started, just focus on the first one, which is Amazon. But anyways, essentially what they do to increase their income is they create their own like e-commerce website. And essentially what they're doing, here's the big thing. If this is how the big multi-millionaires of Amazon, you know how they make the big money? Here it is. So this is probably the most important thing. That is, they build this beautiful thing that I call a brand, okay? That is what makes money at the end of the day. There's a lot of huge brands. You've probably heard of the brand. Is that how you say it? Or spell it, I should say. Anchor. The Anchor headphones. Now, don't quote me on this, but I'm 95% sure they were first established on Amazon. They built their brand first on Amazon. Then from there, they took it off Amazon. Well, I think they're still on Amazon, but they basically, have their own website. And now I think you can find them in big box retailers such as Walmart and things of that sort. Okay, they got huge, and I actually heard the valuation. They're worth over $1 billion. Now I can't. That's what I heard. Anyways, they're worth millions at the very least. So they're huge. Okay, so this is how they made big money, through the brand. It's building a brand, not just sales on Amazon, but now off Amazon. So they have it through the website, okay? And now they also have it through, I'll call it partnerships. They don't really have their own stores, per se. Partnerships. Okay, so in this case, that was like Walmart, for an example, for Anchor. Okay, so this is like the long-term view. Notice this is not going to happen overnight. You need to have a heck of a lot of sales in order to have Walmart say, yes, okay, you can be in our store. But I always recommend thinking big in the first place. And even if you don't decide to do any of the partnerships, even if you have just your website established, that can absolutely help create thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even $1 million more in extra sales, just because you now have your brand outside of Amazon and now you're doing both. So notice how multiple streams of income then basically creates even more profit, okay? So keep that in mind as well. So let's see here. Let's go to number 10. And by the way, thanks for sticking around this long. If you have, hopefully you've learned a lot. If so, make sure to subscribe, because I have a ton of information I want to share with you. Ultimately give you as much value as possible. That's really my goal with this channel. So if you like things like that, definitely subscribe and like the video. And if you have any questions, also feel free to comment below. Anyways, number 10, what Amazon multimillionaires know. That is that they need to basically always be looking. I'm kind of looking for the better word, actually, but looking to improve. Now, I'm going to say this is different from growing, because here's an example. So you might have this, one product listing. That's what it stands for, product listing, okay? And it's making $1,500 a month, okay? But what they look for is they say, hey, you know what? The product images in the listing, they're not the greatest. They could be professionally done, or I could maybe create better pictures. I could have them done, whatever the case might be. Even things like that can increase your conversion rate. Okay, so maybe you get, say, new pictures, new professional pictures done. So new pics, okay, and you try that out, and then perhaps maybe now you find out the next following month you have now $2,000 made. Okay, you just, from doing that investment of the new pictures, yeah, I mean, it costs you a couple $100, but you just increase your listing by $500 per month, and now moving forward, potentially $500 a month. Now, it depends, of course, on trends and seasonal products, right? So if something's more seasonal, you're going to see those results in that time of its peak earnings time. But Still, they're always looking for ways to improve their current listings as well. Next, which is going to be the 11th one, which is a bonus one. And that one there that you're going to absolutely want to keep in mind is Amazon Multimillionaires Give Back. Now, what the heck does that mean, give back? Giving back is done in a lot of different ways, but if you notice, this actually translates to something that I've mentioned above, which I'll get into in a second here. Giving back can be done like in these videos here, what I'm trying to do, give back. So give back to people, give value, and give value through these videos essentially for free, okay? And you might be thinking, okay, great, but why the heck would they do that? First things first, it's actually a combination of all the things we got done, or we were talking about. It's actually a combination of a lot of those. And what I mean by that, here, I'll show you, is by giving value for free, you're growing. You're learning. Okay, from doing these videos, I still learn certain things that I didn't know before sometimes. And in repeating this process in my head of certain things as far as like how to do things, it makes it second nature to me. So basically, I grow as a seller. Not only do I help people, but I also grow myself. Another thing too is I build a community. Let's see, that's abbreviation there for community. And that can be done through subscribers. That can be done through a lot of different things. So say for an example, if I have any questions or whatnot, I can ask in a video and I may get a comment from one of you answering my questions. So that's beneficial again to both parties there. Another thing too is another potential source of income. Now in my personal belief, other people might have other beliefs, but in my personal belief, when it comes to giving back and helping people, you absolutely must focus on the value aspect. I think too many people are focused on, oh, it becomes a new source of income. But the problem is, as you know, as a viewer, you can smell that out. You can smell if a person's essentially money hungry. Now, I will say this: there's absolutely nothing wrong with people selling courses. I sell courses on Udemy, Skillshare, and stuff like that. But at the same time, too, I don't have a problem with people recommending their courses if they really truly believe in it, that it's really good. On top of that too, it can be affiliate marketing too. So basically this helps you and also helps the person getting it too. So that stands for affiliate marketing. Essentially, I could recommend a product that I do truly believe will help you a lot if you don't have it. I would get a cut of that commission, and then essentially you get the product that you never knew existed that could help you greatly. So it's really a win-win. So notice how giving back actually ends up creating a lot of great things in the process, okay? Now, this has been a super long video, so I'm not going to basically keep here too much longer, but if you did enjoy this video, please feel free to subscribe and also give it a big thumbs up. I greatly appreciate you watching this. If you watched it all the way through, truly I do believe it's going to help you a ton. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, again, thanks so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.